Every parent tell their children that if you don't have an education, you will suffer in life. Alternatively, they will say that if you have an education, you will prosper in life. In this chapter, I went further than the parental advice and explained what are the components of education. To some extent, we are all educated. The less educated will just rely on information, then the more educated will acquire skills. Still more educated will obtain knowledge, and the most educated will attain a state of wisdom. Many students, their parental advice of education is overrated, and it is that money truly matters. We have explored this debate of knowledge versus money early on, but I would like to touch on this topic in this section. First of all, in order to make money that lasts, you will need a lot of knowledge and the required skills. Just having the information of the possibility of making money isn't enough. And then having it all, that is, even if you became rich, only wisdom can keep you rich. I am just playing with the four components of education so that they stick in your mind as you read this book. We tend to think that life is a series of activities, that there is nothing much to understand in life. All you need to do is react to what life throws at us. This is purely an information based life. But as we talked earlier, if we do not have the skills, the knowledge, the wisdom, we'll further get into more problems. We'll get trapped, and we'll keep on failing. We need education in order to make sense of the world in a correct way, not to get overexcited and not to get depressed is one of the fruits of education. They say that there is no end to knowledge, and that is true. However, the more knowledge you have and the wiser you become in assimilating that knowledge, the more settled you become in your life and in your own self. I don't see my own life without education and the four components of it. It's easy to tell someone to stay calm, but the foundation of calmness, it's education. Money can take you only so far and buy you so much things, but only education can enable you to make money give you what you are really seeking. You can have all the money in the world, but if you cannot understand that world that you live in, what's the point? So, in order to illustrate this point, after this serious background, let me get to the objective of this particular section. Here, I want to give you a snapshot of what education does in the real world and what many students have missed or are going to miss if they do not take their education seriously. I will provide you just five titles of news that I collected from various sources like BBC, CNN, The Economist, and so on. Now, even to understand the title, you will need an education. If you want to make lots of money, you will need to know what problems the world is facing and in which direction it's going so that you can make schemes. And then when you have no more work or you have enough money, what else will you do? Isn't it better to understand the world around you through news, books, even YouTube videos, traveling, conversing with strangers? But that will require education. I'm sure that if you are reading this far, you have education. But this advice I suggest you give to your students and your children or the younger generation you are related to or connected to. Now let's explore the first title, and it will become clearer. As you can see in the template, this news talks about a brown dwarf that is found after 3 decades. Also, the title says that people are surprised. Now, this is the information. Does it mean that we are talking about a short person who is brown and not white or black? But then, why people are surprised by finding it? So, information alone is not enough here. You will need the skill to interpret the word dwarf. You'll need a knowledge of physics or cosmology or astronomy. A dwarf here in this context would be one type of star, maybe. So now the title suggests that 3 decades later, a brown star was found, and it surprised the people who are related to this study. The skill got you so far. Now you will need a knowledge. It must be that they are scientists who are looking into the sky through their telescopes, and they are looking for celestial objects, among them stars, which is brown, which also might be a certain distinct type of star. So somebody sitting in his office must have noticed on his computer that first brown dwarf. And that is indeed surprising for the community of scientists. The wisdom part is that there are many things that we are searching in the world, and through enough persistence, we can find them. In the quantum physics world, they have found the Higgs boson. Similarly, here, they have found the first brown dwarf. So the message is to persevere and explore the universe, and that is very inspiring. In this way, with the use of the 4 components of education, we're able to get out so much of a single newspaper title that can fill our minds, energize us, and maybe give us new ideas in our work. In this second newspaper title, we get the information that there is a flood in a place called Dubai. Why would an international newspaper talk about a flood that occurs pretty much everywhere? That we will have to have some kind of knowledge. And then it says that the UAE sees the heaviest rainfall in 75 years. Now you'll have the skill or the knowledge of the fact that Dubai is part of the United Arab Emirates. However, if you do not have that particular factual data, then you might be thinking that they are talking about 2 different places. So in just few sentences, you experience information, you used your particular skill that you learned either yourself or in school, but we still do not know why it's making the headlines. You'll again need to have the skill to find out that the UAE falls in the equatorial region that is at the center of the earth. There is mostly desert, and rain is very rare, and that is why it's a desert. So if you get information that it's flooding in a desert, you'll have to use your knowledge on how it is possible to quench this thirst for knowledge. You would definitely have to read this article. In this way, you will find the connections, the cause and effect that led to this flood in a desert. On the side track, you develop the wisdom that the world is full of surprises, and even it can flood in a desert given certain conditions are met. So this will enter your memory so that one day you might be able to use it to illustrate some point, like if it's possible that there can be a heavy rainfall in a desert? Why is it not possible that what you are trying to do will not succeed? So that would be stretching the knowledge to other fields, and that's the biggest use of wisdom. In the third article, the title is quite similar, and it says that there is a flood in Asia, and the death toll, the number of people dying, is increasing due to the monsoon season, which is aggressive. Now, the information you got is that people died because of flood. No big deal. It always happens. Comparing it to the earlier information of the Dubai flooding, you will require a skill to understand why this flood in Asia is different. South Asia consists of mainly three seasons. It's either winter or it's summer, and finally it's raining. So you will need to have this particular fact correct. Then you will need the knowledge that the forces of nature sometimes can become overwhelming. You'll need to know the cause and effect of the rain, which is called monsoon in this part of the world. For example, in the particular case of Asia, the summer causes a very low pressure because of the high temperature inland, and the wind filled with rain from the sea, which is at very high pressure comparatively, comes inland. In this way, the hotter the summer is, the heavier the rain will tend to be. So somebody with knowledge who is in Asia at that moment can estimate that if it's very hot, then the rain will also be very heavy. Similarly, if it's not that hot in that particular summer, then the rain will not be that heavy. Of course, knowledge is more than that, because there are other factors that are involved in how heavy the rain will be. So this is about gathering the knowledge. Then in the wisdom part, we have to understand that with any natural calamity, there might be damages both to physical property and to human life. This has happened in that particular time that the news is covering. It is a sad affair, but it's the way things are. In this fourth news, we are given the information that something has fallen. We are also told the information that the price of oil and technological stocks dropped. Given that you know what it's talking about, which is the share market, you might be tempted to sell your shares to prevent further loss. This is where you will need more skills. You will need to be able to look at the pattern, make some calculations on the correct value of these shares. Also, you'll need the knowledge to know whether this particular incident is caused by a predicted chain of events that might be seasonal, or it is because of some unexpected event. Again, you have to have the historic knowledge of that share market of yours. So swinging between knowledge and skills, you can make the proper decision. After this news, you can increase your wisdom and expand your knowledge to include this particular news in your total understanding of the share market. This will add on to your future decision criterion. The fifth title gives the information that there is a certain problem that requires the fathers to watch whether or not they are drinking alcohol excessively. Now, even to understand this much, you'll need to have the skill to interpret that drinking here talks about alcohol, because in the earlier part of the sentence, it was used as the fetal alcohol syndrome. In order to understand the word fetal, you must have the skill to either having memorized it before or deriving it from its root word, which is fetus. Knowing that poital is the adjective of the noun fetus, your skill enables you to understand that we are talking about a disease in the fetus which is related to alcohol. Again, you must have had the skill to understand that syndrome is related to the word symptom, which is about a disease. This title supposes that you have the knowledge about fetal alcohol syndrome. So far, the knowledge is that when the mother consumes alcohol, the baby in the womb is affected. So this is the common knowledge. However, what this title is suggesting is that now the new science or research has found out that also whether or not the father drinks alcohol affects the womb and its child. This is a surprise, and this news is meant for that objective. So the skill required now is to ask the question, how is that so? That when the father is not connected to the fetus in the womb, he still affects it. This is a suspense created by the title, and the answer must be provided in the article itself. After reading this article, then your increased knowledge will affect your wisdom. Knowing something new, you will become wiser on that particular topic. This will lead you to think about life being so surprising because things that are so unrelated still affect one another through a chain of amazing causality. So the wisdom you develop from that is that many things don't seem as they are, and they are relations which are beyond our normal understanding. So in this way, through those five article titles, you have seen how the four components of education interplay. It's so much fun, and it's so educational. It can help you succeed in life in whichever endeavor that you are in.